Hi folks, Graham Vincent, Violinmaker and musician, and Andrew Parish.
Andy Parish, yeah.
Yeah, and this
Budding
is
violin maker, possibly.
fingers crossed.
But we'll see.
Judging by, he's been showing me some photos of everything else he's ever done, and everything else he's ever done has been brilliant. So it's all going to be good, I'm sure.
We'll see.
But yeah, I mean, this basically we're going to have a comparison of violin that Andy's made from my set of plans,
Yep.
basically. And I've got one that I made from my set of plans as well, so there's a very real possibility that his will be better. So
No, the first attempt.
we'll see how it goes.
That's not your first attempt, is it?
No, that's number 44.
Oh.
So yeah.
Oh, the first 44.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Basically, we're just going to have a general chat about all sorts of things. I have a feeling this might be quite a long video, so stick with it. Hopefully it'll be worth it.
So good.
What is it? I'll show you mine, you show me yours.
Okay,
Something
so
like that.
first of all, the case obviously didn't, it's not what it says on the lid.
No.
This made me laugh because the case came off Amazon,
Yeah.
and this case was on Amazon is $39.95.
Yeah.
The case with a violin and a bow is $59.95.
Well, it's even worse than that, because I've actually, when I was looking at just buying cheap cases to send out, you can buy an empty case on eBay, but if you buy one with a cheap, like purple violin in or something, it was cheaper than buying the case.
Yeah, yeah.
On
Is
its
that?
own, yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'll let you do the.
Here we go.
Genuinely not seen this.
No, this is a first. So I've seen photos of it. You showed me the photos. Okay, it's a violin. Have you got a shoulder rest or?
Yes, please.
Okay, right. Let's get this out of the way. Do you know what I should have done? It's got a piece of cloth for the table.
There's a bit here.
Oh, is that? We've got something to lay that on, so I don't want to scratch your violin. So we've got an oak-bodied violin.
Yeah.
Oak back, oak ribs, oak neck.
The original oak was, for the roof of it, was a bit of
So it's a reclaimed.
Table.
It's a reclaimed one.
bit of tabletop. That's the bit that came off the.
I won't tune it up to exactly the same pitch. I've just tuned it so it's in tune with itself. Do you mind if I play it? Because
that would be
that's what it's all about, isn't it? At the end of the day, making music.
think it's going to work.
Wow.
It's not. This is
who's-
genuinely the first time, apart from me messing about,
that it's been played.
This is the first time anybody's actually played it.
Wow.
You've
Weight
seen my
of responsibility.
silly effort. I don't know what to say, Graham. Honestly, it's just
It's got a lovely
I'm
sound.
a bit. I'm a bit.
I've got slight goosebumps. Must admit, it's nice.
Really?
It's lovely.
As
It's
a
lovely.
first, just.
That's beautiful.
It sounds old-fashioned. It sounds like.
I mean, we'll talk about how to improve things and so on as we go, but let's just
It's never going to be.
just accept the fact that it's a great sounding violin and it's playable.
Yeah.
You've done the job. This is a cracking violin, basically.
It's all down to your.
I love it. Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice.
And there's so many questions and so many things that I obviously not as a player because I can't play. Things like the shape of the bridge.
Yeah.
You know, because that I was thinking that there's so many things that are changeable, like the shape of the bridge, and where the sound post goes and the shape of the bass bar. That unless you've had some practice and you know what you're talking about, you first time round you're guessing.
You know, of course, absolutely, too right.
And so I'm guessing first time round that this, as I say, and I've seen a few things about bridges shapes being for various, you know, folk or classical and all that sort of stuff.
We'll cover all of that. Just for comparison.
Yeah. I mean, I guess things like strings as well make a big difference.
They do. They make a big difference.
These are Tonica.
Yeah.
They were £40, so they were reasonable, I guess, to a
Yeah.
set of strings. But
Well, to be honest, in the world of strings, that's quite cheap.
okay.
Yeah, violin strings are horrendously expensive, and sometimes you wonder why. But yeah. So, okay, what do I think of it? There are things that you would want to work on and that you want to improve, but can I say, just for starters, it's a lovely sounding and totally playable violin, and that's the bottom line, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. So I'm slightly nervous about starting to talk about it. Do you
No,
mind me?
100%.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, there's lots of things that what I was aware of while I was doing it was some of the finishing. I thought, well, I could have done that a little bit better, but then I thought, well, hang on, this is not about.
And also, as you don't play,
No.
it's kind of you're kind of going blind into it a little bit, you know.
Getting angles right. All I
Yeah,
had to go
yeah.
on was your plans. So
That's
10 out of 10 for the plans.
Well, in that case, I'm quite relieved.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, so
But no, go on, give it your best shot. Give it your worst
Okay.
shot or whatever. I'm interested.
it's quite heavy.
Okay.
And that might be partly down to the fact it's made of oak.
Yeah.
Of course. But that would improve the sound and improve the response if it were lighter.
Okay.
So that's something. People will always, look at things like your corners and the B-stings and what have you, and that's used as an indicator of quality, if you like. So I would say some of the shape is quite.
It was when I first cut the top out, and then I went back to the plans and I thought, oh, hang on, I need this square corner, and there was nothing left, so there was no going back to the square corner.
Sure, understood. but where you've got bumps and steps, like for example, you one trick, I'm sure, because you've made so many things and made them beautifully. I mean, there's one trick I used to use when furniture making is you put fingers together and feel and instantly because you feel the movement. But if you just do that on that bit there, so you're holding your fingers together and then run it along.
Yeah,
you can feel that that's not a smooth curve.
No, absolutely.
And you can see it as well.
No, absolutely.
And the thing is that if you're running purfling off an edge that isn't straight,
square,
then the purfling won't be straight.
I mean, I have to say the purfling and the sides, I know I mentioned to you earlier, when I made this, I didn't have a bending post.
No, indeed.
So the sides and the purfling are done with a damp tea towel and a steam iron.
And you've done a cracking job. I mean, I mean, you can look at these things and I feel terrible making any comment about it, but but that's why you're here. Then. Yeah. So I mean,
I can see that things like obviously that corner doesn't extend anywhere near far enough. This one possibly does.
The smoothness of the bending is the initial thing, and then of course that dictates the shape of the top. And
there's a real flat bit in there, and actually you can see it in there.
Exactly. So I mean, it's sort of so you know how that's happened, and the thing is, if you look at my first violin, you see all these things, but also you know how not to do it for the next one. The edge work is, you've got a nice channel, and then it's just kind of flat from there. I mean that's something to look at and work on. The scroll. Personally,
first attempt carving.
It's quite a nice form, I have to say. But I probably would.
It's probably not deep enough.
Yeah, I would probably have brought this second thing in a little bit, so there was a bigger difference between the second part of the spiral and that. And funnily enough, you see, I made this out of reclaimed stock that was really way too thin. And so I was faced with exactly the same problem.
Oh, but you've got a narrower.
Yeah. So what I've done is I've kind of. This isn't going to be very interesting on that, I'm afraid. But do you see what I mean?
You've made up for the thinness.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'll tell you what. Let's. So. But it's great. It sounds great.
I think,
and that really is the main thing.
I have to say, you talk about Goosebumps when you're playing that, because that's the first, and this is fascinating, isn't it? I think you create something like that, and then the first time somebody who can actually play it plays it, it almost brings it to life. Well,
we had a very brief conversation about boats just now, didn't we? And I was saying that musical instruments and boats, for me, it's like when you've done it, when you've finished it, when you've strung it up, when it's sat in the water, it suddenly it's people decide if they're male or female, and they feel like they've got their own persona,
What do you think about oak? I know you said we've discussed before. You've said that you've never used oak. Maybe
never
it's
used
too
oak.
Heavy.
A lot of people have tried it, and certainly on guitars, for example, it never really gives a very pleasing result. But actually, this sounds nice.
Yeah,
it sounds nice. One of the other things, one of the big things I wanted to say, just for future reference, basically, is the shape of the neck. This has got a shape which is more like it's. I mean, I exaggerate, but you know a catenary arch.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, a catenary arch is from the Latin for chain, and it's if you hang a chain between 2 points. I'm doing this for the benefit of the camera. There, you get this sort of something rather than being a D shape.
Yes.
It's
more
kind
of like a skipping rope.
Yeah, exactly like that. And there's a little bit of that about the actual shape of a violin, and what you've got is a more guitar shaped neck, if you like, which is kind of it's almost slightly flat on the back.
Do
you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And the other thing is you need to pay attention to
detail,
to the straightness of the neck as such, because there's a great big step there.
And actually that's oak. So I've got there's a bit of end grain there.
Yeah, I see it.
It just wasn't having it.
No, you just got to work out how to make it have it, I'm afraid.
but yeah.
Then going ahead, the grain orientation on and this is for the further down the line, basically, it is wrong.
Oh, okay.
You want it that way, basically, so it'll be more stable and stronger.
So I think I've got a block.
Well, when I say wrong, this is all subjective. I mean, if you have a reason and you want to do it like that, then you do it like that.
No, but there are, if you like, there are three grain oriented, because there's this way, and then there's across the grain.
Yes.
So, but that is taken from just straight down off the plank.
Yeah.
Rather than
that's
off the plank sideways.
Effectively, that's slab sawn that way.
Yes.
And you want it that way.
Right.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
Just for stability and what have you. This. Yeah. That's one thing. Without much more effort, you could have made this just look completely different.
Yes.
That is worth attending to.
Yes.
Definitely. So,
I mean, technically, the other thing is, it's almost because it's not finished. I could take it back in the shop and redo that.
Yeah, absolutely. Then, on my set of plans, basically, you want to see the back of the bridge is supposed to be perpendicular with the underside of that, yeah?
Yeah.
And yours is kind of moving forward a little bit, whether that's just because it's just moved a bit. But that's something to consider. I love it.
I think something I missed is there's a little notch out of here, isn't there?
Yes.
I haven't done that.
I mean, the F holes generally could be.
They're a bit tatty.
What I'm seeing here. I've moved over to criticism.
No. It's good because that's how it will improve the next one.
But this is all starting from the starting line here is, I think this is marvellous. Okay, so there's criticism from that line upwards. All right,
that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
I mean, basically, looking at that, I would say you used a knife which didn't have a fairly nice round bevel.
Yeah, I used just a normal craft knife.
Yeah. And the thing about a round bevel is not ideal in most situations, but it does mean for things like carving a curve,
right? Yeah.
You can really control.
I mean, the bit I didn't struggle with, but the bit that was made it difficult was the grain ends.
Yeah.
Because this has got quite a big winter and summer growth difference.
Yeah.
That winter growth is so much harder than the summer growth.
Yeah.
So when you're actually carving along it, literally, you could feel it, and
you can see it.
Having to go in the right direction.
But the thing about using a sort of a blade with a nice sort of a nice long curve on it is that you can actually you can sort of bridge over that.
Cool.
So that's
the other amusing thing that once I finished it was that the only place that the soundpost would fit was through that hole there, because I made it too small.
That's not an uncommon thing, to be honest. That's fairly common. Soundpost is in about the right place.
That's just following the plans. But
nice label.
Yeah, a friend of mine made the label.
Cool.
So we're getting there.
It's lovely. It's really nice. I think it's great. It's really great.
I think I've really enjoyed the process, and what I've really enjoyed about the process is the logic of we're going. I've watched the videos on YouTube. I've watched lots of other people's videos on YouTube, but there are certain things that I thought from my model boat building past that I thought, well, I could do this slightly differently.
Yeah.
I actually build some of my corner posts to start with. I've got number 2 here.
All right. Let's have a look.
Well, I've got number 2 and number 3.
Well, hey.
He's
been bitten by the bug so much. Like the production line started.
Yeah. So this is number 2 and number 3, and obviously you recognise the mould. But what I do with my corner posts is I measure them. They're all exactly cut from the same piece of wood to 31 millimeters. I then build on a piece of Formica.
Right.
So that when I when I put the mould on a piece of Formica and all the corners are in,
Yeah.
they're all the same height.
Yeah.
So then bringing it back to where it should be isn't a mile away.
No.
Because it's end grain, it's really difficult to even sand it back flat.
Yeah.
But then the other thing I do on my phone, which again I do, I've only just started obviously, is 2 bits of 180 grit with double-sided tape on a piece of Formica.
Yeah.
And you can really get it
Indeed.
a flat.
Yeah. What's the timber on this one?
That's ash.
I was going to say this is
A bit more conventional.
slightly more conventional.
Again,
You're still out on a bit of a leg there.
Yeah.
But actually, with it's got a little bit of colour in it as well.
Yeah. I mean, I've got the top set, the back.
And you've run the bottom rib right the way around. Haven't you? That's
Yes, on that one. That
Yeah.
one didn't.
I mean, it's something you can see. You know.
That's the start of the back.
Nice.
Now,
Yeah.
I know that a lot. I see them on the where they're cut out of a triangle. But I think the most important thing is that it's cross cut rather than anything else. Slab sawn.
Yeah, that's almost quarter sawn, isn't it? So
Yeah.
that's
So
perfect. Yeah. I mean, I've done them this way in the past. But I mean,
as long as it's, I think I've got that at nearly 14, so 13 mil thick. So I've got to get down to be 12, but this is a flat side to start with. So
yeah, that's nice.
and then the front on this and that one is it's just an old beam from a.
But it's alive.
Yeah, from a scrapyard, from a recycle yard. I don't know if it's pitch pine.
No, it's
I
not
don't think
pitch
it
pine.
is.
It almost looks a bit like
Just old red pine.
Yeah, but even just handling it, you get this. You can hear this sort of this real hiss from it. It's,
I think that's age and.
It's really responsive, isn't it?
I can't stop doing that as well.
Yeah, that's very promising, that one.
Yeah, so that's front and back for, and I fully understand now as well, having spoken about that one, that all right, 2 and 3, but it's just practice.
It is, yeah.
And and the other thing I'm doing at the moment is I'm trying to keep a tab on time.
Yeah.
So I can see.
Just
so
for an idea of weight, I mean that's.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's quite considerably lighter, isn't it?
It's a bit lighter, yeah.
The biggest fear
Go on.
is, and as with all these, always over engineering, is the pressures.
I know. It is a worry.
So one question I was going to ask you is, have you ever had a fail, a front fail?
No.
So the fear of it actually failing is just get it to the thickness and don't worry too much about it. I think I'm probably about 3.5 mil on the back and front of that.
Yeah.
But I thought, I could take it down to 2, but then the biggest fear is you wind the strings on and it just it collapses. I remember once I made a model aeroplane at work on nights, and do you remember those balsa kits that were just you made them and then you covered them in tissue paper?
Yeah, indeed.
Well, I spent all week making this.
Yeah.
It was about that big, and it was Spitfire, and I left it in the store cupboard at work. And on the last night, I was going to cover it with the tissue paper, and it was and I went into work on the evening of the last night, and I went to the store cupboard, and somebody had obviously found it during the day, and I put the elastic band in it and the propeller, and they'd obviously wound, and it just went. It was about half its length, and it was like, I don't believe it. And that's my fear.
Your fear is the same as winding up that elastic band.
You wind it up and you end up cracking it.
Well, I mean, the expression on my face the first time is probably like this. Yeah. You know.
But you've never had.
No.
I'm aware that you think about things like grain.
Yep.
And pegs pushing on the grain and this pushing down, so which is exactly why I'm guessing that sound peg needs to be just behind there because it's supporting that leg on the grain.
Yeah. Yes.
Logically,
it is. Yeah. It's doing the reason that its position is so important is it kind of constrains the way that moves, and you want it to constrain it in a particular way. I personally feel that how tightly that is put in is perhaps as important as its position is.
It's only just catching
that's
before
the
you
way
put the strings on.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
You should be able to change the strings without it falling over. If you're
but
careful.
Not rammed in
if
place.
you're careful.
Yeah. But not rammed in place.
No, absolutely not. No.
So,
That's lovely. And let's have a look at number 3.
Oh, well, 2 and 3. So, I was saying about the time. So 2 and 3. This is actually now.
And have you been doing these actually side by side?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I decided to make 2 and just time it. But I popped this one out the mould because just because I thought I'd just make sure it was going to come out. I think the sides are possibly a bit thick, or maybe not too bad.
Look alright to me.
Yeah. Okay. So up to now, making 2 moulds, 2 fronts and backs, and these to this stage is 12.5 hours, which I thought is.
I think you've been racing along.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can calm down a bit if you want.
Yeah, slow down. But
I'm not saying you need to.
No. I think it's almost like it's one of those. So this is 2 and 3, but it's only 2 and 3, and I'm sure that 1 to 10 is practice. Maybe when you get there, then you might be getting somewhere near. But you've got to learn. If you're not learning through the process, number 10 will look exactly the same as that, and that's why it's great that you've been.
The one thing I see on these, when you do number 4, do this differently here, okay? So what you're looking for is for those corners to come to not a sort of rounded over or anything, but they want to come to a flat, and the flat is the complete thickness of the top and the bottom.
Oh.
So basically, I've got one out in the workshop I should show you, but so this.
So they actually come together.
You put that one on first, and then you finish the shaping of this so it runs through. This one then comes right way through. So
they actually come together like that, almost like a.
I need to get a piece of paper, don't I? I'll show you. I'll tell you what. I'll show you this afterwards.
Okay.
If I'm intelligent with my editing, you should now see an illustration. Or maybe not.
Or maybe not.
Yeah. But I'll show you exactly the way to do that, and that will make.
But that
makes a bit of a difference.
One of the, I mean, I said about I could post it to you, and you can have a look and let me know.
Yeah.
I felt that coming and actually sitting and speaking to you, that's exactly why.
Well, you wouldn't,
because I wouldn't have learnt that.
I wouldn't have played it for you for a start.
No, but well, if I'd posted it, but yeah, it's things like that you pick up and you think, well, I get it now.
Yeah.
So
it's good. It's fantastic.
That's those. I don't know. Oh, another little thing that I found, which I think are absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
These, and the reason these I think are brilliant is they're I think they're 15 quid for 10 off Amazon.
Yeah.
And they're exactly the right size, and they're soft.
Oh,
for doing that.
Okay.
And when you get 10 round there, they're so quick.
The speed is really quite useful for
that
sort of thing, isn't it? When we pop out to the workshop in a bit, I'll show you my approach, which is completely different to that.
I've seen all these clamps, and I thought, maybe I need to make myself one of those clamps, and then I thought, hang on, maybe they've got enough strength, but not.
Because for most uses, if you bought these, you'd be disappointed they're that soft, aren't you?
Yes.
I'm not putting much effort into just doing that. But for this, they're perfect.
It's just one of those.
Exactly.
Hang on, that might be.
That's I get that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that was that. I didn't work out there actually. I love the purfling, but you were saying about your purfling. That's again, that's just
I mean, so that's, you said it was walnut, lime walnut, didn't you? That's lovely. Really nice.
But there's a company called Hobbies, and they sell planking for modelling, boats and things like that, but they sell all different sizes. And we said about the strip for lining.
Yeah.
Again, you can make it, but I had a load of this left spare, so it was like,
Yeah.
you know, why would I not?
Yeah.
And it's lime, so
I always make mine, to be honest.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
again, we'll have a
yeah.
we'll have a look at in the workshop, and I think I touch on that in the latest video I put out, which you may or may not have seen. I
Oh,
put it out
no.
last night. Yeah.
All right, no.
Also, the other thing I want to say, Andrew was so massively impressed me because he actually made some hide glue from dog chews, and you can just tell by the smell and the look of it that it's just good quality hide glue. Perfect.
Yeah. So, but I think what I said to you, I'm gonna do a video.
Yeah.
I've got a little bit of a channel, but it's not much. But
we will put a link.
oh, okay.
If that's all
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
If that's okay. I'll put a link in the description to Andy's,
Okay.
Andy's
And
channel.
I'll do a video of how to make hide glue from dog chews.
Well,
It's
you realise this will go out in the next few days. You committed yourself to doing
Oh
it.
no, yeah, I've been meaning to do it for a while, and I've got everything I need, so I'll crack on and get it done.
And apparently, I'm being gifted this, so I'm looking forward to using that. That'll be on probably the next couple of violins. Fantastic,
Brilliant.
superb. We've got loads to talk about, but I'm aware that this is kind of dragging on a little bit for you guys, so I think I'll wrap up the video now.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Well, it's all down to your plans, Graham.
That's very kind of you, but that's just fantastic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, leave it there. Thanks, folks. Thanks very much. Cheers. Look after yourselves. Cheers. Bye.